Oh my gosh, Adelaide, you look amazing. And I need to tell you that there is 500 of you here tonight, and that is the biggest book launch Zoe has done for her amazing new book, Things Will Calm Down Soon. I know it's not a competition, but we win, and Adelaide officially loves you the most.
Definitely win. This is huge. I'm nervous. We're good.
We're winners. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. And Zoe, thank you for being here tonight. This is such a treat for all of us. I know it goes without saying that everyone is very excited to hear what you have to say about the book. And hopefully there are some people out here who have already read it. If not, a lot of you are going to be starting it tonight. I met Zoe when I was 20 years old, so obviously just a couple of years ago now, and we worked at Cosmopolitan together, and then I went on to be a beauty editor also when Zoe was a beauty editor. So we had so much fun living the beauty editor life in Sydney and learning all about the beauty industry. And for those of you who have already read the book, you know that so much of that amazing behind the scenes info about the beauty industry is in the book. And I know if you're here tonight, you are definitely a beauty lover and a skincare lover. So you are going to get so much great info that is more than the glossy facade that we see as the consumer. Now, I want to start with something that Zoe's written. So I was lucky enough to get an advance copy of the book, and Zoe had written a note in the front that you won't see in your book. So I'm going to read it if that's okay. Sure. So Zoe says about the book, about Kit. Kit, our founder in Things Will Calm Down Soon, is your classic fish out of water. Only the fish is a creative and the water is a boardroom full of suits with decades of experience speaking gibberish. The feeling of being utterly incompetent and out of your depth, yet responsible for a brand, a company, people's livelihoods and tens of millions of dollars is a unique one. And with Kit's journey, we feel that absolutely. So I think we should dive in. Let's talk about it. Oh, no, wait. Lucky I've got my notes, Zoe. I am. No, today Zoe announced something very exciting about the book. Please tell us your big announcement. We will be the first audience to hear it live.
Yes, so today it's announced that Things Will Calm Down Soon has been optioned by Made Up Stories to be a US TV series, which is so Made Up Stories is Brenda Cavanander and her husband, and they do like 9 Perfect Strangers and Perfect Scandal and Anatomy of an Affair. Like they are doing some amazing TV shows. So I'm very confident our characters are in very good hands, and I am pinching myself quite a lot. So a bit giddy and silly today. So thank you for sharing.
I feel like it is the perfect way to start our chat. It is very exciting. A massive congratulations from all of us. So this book feels like it should have its own category. When I was describing it to my friends, I was saying it's fiction plus or fiction extra, because obviously it's a novel, it is fiction, but it is infused with so much amazing business advice, business wisdom. So as a founder yourself, how much would you have wanted to read this book 10 years ago?
That's big.
That's a big you right there.
Hey girl. Sorry, good question. I often make things that I wish existed, and that's probably very true of Go-To, but also books like Textbook Romance and Love and Breakup Bus. And it felt very urgent to me to write this book after a long hiatus, because I'd just been through a very strange circus of mergers and acquisitions to sell half of Go-To a couple of years ago. And I was quite stunned at the boardrooms and the meetings I found myself in as a creative who mostly cared about marketing campaigns and products and grade scheme. And I hadn't written novels for a while, but I really wanted to share all of that information that I'd learned while it's very fresh. And I felt like I hadn't read that before, and I know a lot of founders that I'm very privileged and honoured to be able to help and give advice to, that I felt like this would answer a lot of those questions all in one go. And it's the basics about protecting your equity treating your staff well and your customer, and when it gets to a point where you want to take in investors or sell, how to do that in a way that is right and good for you as well as the company. So I did want to write it as not a business book, because that didn't feel interesting to me to write, and I think there are already really great business books out there, but I thought I can write fiction, I will do this as fiction. So that if you don't care about business, hopefully you can still enjoy it. But if you do have your own business, and so many of us do, then you might pick up some stuff along the way.
Absolutely, and I think that you will all find that. You have written both fiction and non-fiction, 17 books to be exact, but it has been 10 years since your last novel. How does the process of writing a novel differ for you, and how did it feel to get back in the groove?
It did feel very different. It felt a lot more grown up for me. I think I was very busy with my children and my business for those 10 years, and just didn't have the bandwidth that I needed to be able to sit down and really focus on a long form project. So I wrote picture books about farts and, you know, a bit of non-fiction, but I hadn't flexed my writing muscle for a while. But once my youngest went to school and the deal was finished, so I thought I was able to focus again on fiction. And it was a relief to find that it still flowed and I could still do it. And yeah, I think we got there.
You got back in the groove.
Yeah.
You've infused a lot of your business advice from lived experience in the book, obviously. Was writing it and reflecting on your journey cathartic or stressful or fun, all of the above or none?
So I signed the contract to write the book in 2022, I think it must have been, right after I had fully finished brought on new partners and that it was all done, and I thought, oh, I can breathe again and I can just work on go-to and start writing at a nice leisurely pace. And then unfortunately the people we sold half of the company to went into administration, and I very quickly was thrust very deeply into deal world again, so lawyers and advisors and private equity, and my job was to, over a year, very carefully and strategically, in a way that I'm absolutely not trained, buy back my company. At the same time as writing about a book with a fictional deal, and I think one deal is too many for me, but to be doing two at once, do not recommend. And it was really challenging at times because I was trying to come up with a great, exciting fictional deal for my character while trying to figure out my real life deal. So yeah, very confusing.
Oh my gosh, I assumed that you'd written it post everything,
but I really did think, I'm like, oh, it's all in good hands, I can get back to fiction writing, but no.
Yes. Did you take notes? Did you journal in that time or anything? Okay.
No, I did. Well, the email trail is pretty
of course. The modern day journal.
But I do admit to sometimes cutting and pasting my advisor's sentences and putting it straight in the book, because he does it better than me. Like his jingo jangle language that he uses to explain things, I'm just like, and he said it better than me. So
yes.
And he was actually one of the first people who read the book.
Oh, amazing.
I love him, but mostly because I wanted him to check if the
just triple check
the deal in the book were actually feasible and
just practical. Legal at all.
Yeah, I'm like, does this check out? Would this deal happen? I don't know. Yeah.
Love it.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
No spoilers. I heard you talking in an interview recently about always wanting to put out your best work. You were talking about the difference between just doing work and doing really good work. And you said, my first fan has to be me. Can you tell us a bit more about that, and how do you trust those gut instincts?
It's a great question, and I think anyone in the room who works on any artistic endeavour, or any endeavour at all, in fact, I think you are a bit torn because you are meant to be writing for an audience, and of course I want people to read it, but I think I even said this on that podcast, which is that I think I have to be secure in my taste and what I think is readable and enjoyable and entertaining enough that someone else might like it. So there is a hubris for sure to go, well, I like it and you will. But I think what that actually means is if I feel like I've done the very best job that I can and I have refined and thought and edited to the point of insanity, then I think we can get there and it's good enough. It will never be good enough. I will always be able to edit and tweak, but thank God for my team at Alan and who helped me actually submit.
Yeah. And with that gut instinct, did that kind of carry over to business as well when you were making those business decisions? Or was that more about asking advice of people in those gaps that you needed?
Yeah, that's a good one too, because I felt it was a weird, lonely time, because as a founder, you are expected to always know what's next and what to do, and you live in the future. You're always one product ahead, or even in magazines, one issue ahead, thinking about Christmas in February and things like that. So I was trying to imagine a life where I had maybe sold X amount of the company, or all of the company. How would my life look? Would I be devastated? Would I feel relief? I didn't know. I'm no good at that crystal ball shit. So I would call other founders and just say, how did you know? When did you know? And no one's got the answer you want. It's such a weird one, because it's so different for everybody. But probably the final answer is, it's usually before you're ready. I think most of the time selling a business is, you just should feel a little bit uncomfortable, because that means you still care.
Yeah. And maybe flexing that gut instinct for so many years with your writing came in handy when it came time to make this.
But it did take leave. I was locked down as well, so it's a bit of a tough time. But I would walk around the park at night and just go, why are you not telling me what to do? You've been so good up until now. Why have you stopped? And I think it was just a bit beyond me, because it involved. And someone would say to me, well, it's not really what you want to happen with business or a financial decision, but how do you want to live your days? I think it was Hamish, actually, my husband. I think he was like, how do you want to live your day? And clearly I wasn't ready to stop with go-to. There was so much to do. But yeah, it all came around.
Kit, the main character in the book, has a business. I was going to say what it is, but maybe I'll save it for the people that haven't read it yet.
It says on the back.
Oh, okay. Well, it's called Second Day Hair. You guys are there like, please, we know what it is. It sounds absolutely brilliant. I wanted to avoid asking you this because I know everyone's going to be asking you, but I had to. Was this ever actually a business that you were going to create?
Well, I've trademarked it.
Yes, I knew you had. I went and checked for the Instagram accounts and everything, and I saw they'd all been saved.
Oh, I didn't have that.
No, someone has. No, I think they have for you.
No, I don't. No, it's not like a secret position. Someone said the other night, like, is this whole a marketing ploy? Like, is this the next product? I'm like, that's
expensive,
expensive journey to launch a product. No, I don't have huge aspirations to launch Second Day Hair, but I think what I needed to do was not write about skincare, because I did not want to do my story. I just thought, what's a good beauty industry that I love and I could write passionately about as a founder, fictional founder mindset, and hair was it.
Oh my gosh, when you read it, well, I mean, there's 500 of us, so if we started a petition, yes, we might make it happen. Let's talk a bit about Kit and the book. We're trying not to do too many spoilers, but more about the personality and the themes happening in the book. So Kit's life is a mix of glamorous shoots, unglamorous founder office life, and relentless WhatsApp school group chats. The magic in this collision of worlds makes the story so relatable. How much of that came from reality?
Who's got a school WhatsApp group? Who's got
everyone.
I do. I think the point was, and I think why a lot of women are relating to the book, whether they're business owners or not, founders, is the hectic pace we're running our lives at these days. And I don't think I'd read that, and I hadn't seen that done in a way that felt really now and modern and relatable to the women I know and love. And I think it's that constant interruption and incredibly overstimulated life we're living. When you get home, rip off all your rings and your bra and you put your hair back, and the children are yelling, and you've still got to do dinner, and there's 14 emails are coming in and texts, and then the oven fan's on, and you just the fan is what gets me personally. So that, but yeah, it's those days, and there are a lot of them in my life, for sure, and a lot of women I know, and I just wanted to express that in a way that felt real and a bit anxiety-inducing, to be honest. But I think I think people will feel seen and can relate to that.
I don't think I've ever felt as seen as when I was reading those WhatsApp messages and seeing my phone popping up with them as I'm reading the book.
Yeah, I got a live email like 20 minutes ago from the teacher in my middle school. So headlights is going around in year one if anyone was interested.
Kit seems to thrive in chaos. So even if she doesn't always realise it, in what ways do you think that our society is drawn to this constant state of busyness?
Oh my God, such a very loaded question. And I think a really big answer and a very circumstantial answer, where does our drive to be so busy come from? And I think it's like my life algorithm, not even my Instagram algorithm, but my life brings to me women who are similar to me. And we are all pretty happy, or I don't even know if happy is the word, but we feel safe or comfortable when things are hectically chaotic. To the point where I can't relax. I can't sit on the beach and relax. I have to get up and walk around. I can't. My brain doesn't turn off. I know there are words for this, by the way, but I think it's just that recognition of an inability to turn off, and working on that, of course, and working out on the reasons. As a childhood, is it, you know, a person in your past that made you feel like you had to always be productive? Did you never get the pat on the head from dad? What is the thing that's driving you? I don't know my answer. My therapist will tell me that. But I think Kit in the book is asking herself that as well, and is it all worth it? She just wants to sit on the grass and eat a banana sometimes, which is what we all need to do. But it's a great question, and I think my mum always says, like, when she's like, first of all, your generation takes parenting as a full-time job. Right? We're all reading about parenting while we're parenting, we're active parenting, we've got parenting in our Instagram algorithm, like, it's such a big thing for us, on top of the actual parenting, and we're trying to better ourselves as well and stay fit and eat 400 grams of protein a day, all of these things. And she's like, we didn't do any of that shit in the 80s.
Totally.
Just wasn't there. And we didn't have phones pinging at us and blowing up. So I think our life is just like, our attention span is cooked, and we're at max capacity.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the modern world. For those 80s kids out there, when you would get chicken pox, my mum would just call the cousins over and we would all have chicken pox together. Yeah. Did anyone else do that? So there, as you're reading the book, you can feel the pace of her life, and I think a lot of people will relate to that, absolutely. And how do you think that Kit's experience of prioritising others over herself reflects the challenges of the everyday woman, especially when it comes to self-care?
I don't think she has any self-care, does she? I don't think self-care is top of mind for most of us, and I think there's often a sense of guilt or minimising when it comes to looking after ourselves, and that's absolutely to our detriment. But it just feels wanky to go, oh, I need to have some self-care. But that's what self-care looks like to you. Might be a glass of wine and Netflix, and someone else it might be a big walk in nature. But I mean, surprise, surprise, if you look after yourself, you do feel better. And I think I definitely flirted with burnout this year, and my husband basically said, you need to go away and take care of your shit, because if the mother's not functioning, the family's not functioning, and all of those things. And I did. I went to a health camp for 4 days with my mum, and I came back changed. And I hadn't done that for like 8 or 9 years. So, surprise, we need to look after ourselves.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about it to go to. So many of the products are designed for self-care. Obviously, they all fix an issue. They're problem solvers, but also the copy and the way that you write the copy for the brand is very nurturing in a way.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe your self-care element is channeled so much into go-to.
Yeah, well, nurturing is literally one of our core pillars at go-to. We look after people. But there's still an energy behind it. It's not manic, but there's a sense of fun, because I do think beauty can be fun and should be fun, because we're going to do it anyway, so you may as well enjoy yourself, and it should smell good and feel good. But yeah, I can't do anything low-key. It's still going to be up.
High-key only.
Yeah, even nurturing is high energy.
One of my favourite parts of the book is that you've created this like delicious tension. As the reader, there are moments where you start thinking that Kit should just calm down and ditch the idea of scaling up and selling and investing, and just so that she can get a second to breathe, because you can relate to it so much. As the writer, did you feel that push and pull as you were writing it?
Yeah, very much, and that's deliberate. I want, because I don't know how many people have been in a situation where they are selling something big, and you have to sort of defend it, but also try and pitch it as this amazing thing. And that's a really astute observation, like, because I think that hard things are hard things, but there's what version of hard you want. So, is it harder to just stay in it and sort of regret and feel resentful for something, or is your heart going to be that you actually do that thing and take a big risk? So much of being a founder in business is risk taking. And weirdly, I have recognised in myself that I'm not averse to risk in things that are literally worth tens of millions of dollars. But I will not let my child cross the road on a system.
100%.
Like, my risk appetite is so warped. So I think it was just like, what is meaningful? What will count? And Kit often has to come back to that idea of like, how do I actually want to live my life? Because this level of stress reasonable? Do I want to live in this cortisol state my entire life? Probably not.
That's it. And we often think about entrepreneurs as lone wolves, but Kit's story shows the emotional toll of isolation and ambition. Do you think that loneliness is an inherent aspect of success?
Whoa, good one. I was chatting to my friend Sabrina Carpenter about this the other day. We haven't talked for ages.
Tell us more.
I think it is. And I think it happens like as soon as you start to pull away from a group, whether that's you're from a small town, and you pull away from that group, or you excel at something and you get put up into a higher level. Just by sheer virtue of the quantity, there are less and less. And what I love about the connection that we can get online and with Instagram and phones and so on is that founders can find each other and support each other. And in the book, that's really apparent. Kit needs the help of other founders and advisors and her team to help her through really, really complex shit. So certainly it's lonely because ultimately the decisions always fall to you. And there are big things at stake and people's livelihoods. And for me, it was like the person I go to is, I use every product every day. And the idea of that not being available to me selfishly is amazing. So I know there are other people out there who also really love the brand. I want to protect that. Like, how often are you lucky to get a brand that hits, that people love and are loyal to? It takes like such magic to get that. And so I had to protect it with everything. And I think Kit, again, in the book feels that sense of it's a maternal sense in some way. Protective.
Obviously, this book is set now, so it's set in the modern day, but I was thinking with GoTo, that's now 10 years old. Did you have that kind of networking on socials and that kind of vibe with founders then, or
No, I didn't have that. I didn't have any mentors, and I didn't have really many other founders. I think barrier to entry in businesses got so low now that so many people have a business, which is excellent because we can all help each other out. But back then, that was 12 years ago when I was starting, and I was pretty solitary.
Yeah.
And I had a newborn baby, and I lived in a new city, and it was not great. But, that passed. It usually passes.
And I think that's comforting for people out there that have their own business or have an idea and want to start a business.
That is the overwhelming feedback. And books like this bring out a lot of feedback, and I love that. Like, so the signing line for the last few nights has been a lot of founders coming and saying, I feel so alone in this, and I'm bootstrapping it, and like really only my partner gets it because they hear me at the end of every day, and my friends don't really get it. And of course it's lonely and isolating, but everyone's feeling the same thing. It's not, it is your unique lived experience, but it's also a shared experience.
That got me thinking too. You know how they say when you have a really good idea, don't tell like your family? Obviously tell your partner, but sometimes people have opinions. And there's something great about having founder friends online, because they will really G you up in a way that sometimes your family, because they're nervous for you. Oh, I don't know about that idea.
They don't get it. Sorry, I love my family, but they have no idea.
They're not here, it's okay.
Like, they're not in the world and the mindset. And I think, again, it's that risk propensity that founders have. That I'm like, yeah, fucking back it.
Yeah.
And you've got to do this. But Jerry Seinfeld once said, never share an idea for 24 hours. Let it marinate, let it sit. Like, even with my husband, sometimes I'm like, just wait. Because so much can change in 24 hours, and then you gotta let it sit. Not because the idea might stink, but because that feedback is so brutal to a fresh embryo of an idea. And you gotta just let it get a bit of armor around it first.
Absolutely. Family and relationships are central to Kit's story. One element was her childhood insecurity around money and how that manifested into her adult life and then the business. Why was that an important part of her story?
There's a few answers to that. I think look, everyone's reason for selling a business is so unique. What happens in the book is, we won't go into it, but she has to ultimately do this, not by choice. And I think, honestly, people in Australia have an uncomfortable relationship with wealthy people. And I didn't think that it would be relatable to have a founder, and there is one in the book, but to have a founder who just wanted to sell to make money, because that's not how we roll in Australia. And so there had to be a valid and honourable reason, and it is a genuine reason, because people who come from financial insecurity, and that is a lot of founder stories, like I came from nothing and I built this myself. I came from nothing and I built this myself. But I find the next question really fascinating, which is why Australian founders have to sort of apologise for being successful, whereas in America, you got it, you should, you did it, great, good on you. Like, you sold a business and you made X amount of dollars, why don't you do it again and see if you can do better?
Yes.
And so I wrestle with that a little bit in the book.
I loved that theme. There was also this element of letting go in the book. So the main one is obviously the main character's business, that she's grown from this kernel of an idea and letting go of total control, or the idea of letting go of control of it. But also letting go of her hopes that she'd had for a relationship, the need to impress her family. Was that sort of letting go, was that planned? Or did it weave its way through organically?
Yeah, I think it does. And there's a beautiful thing that happens sometimes when you write fiction, where the story feeds itself and it starts to take place almost by itself. It sounds a bit woo-woo and weird, but honestly, it feels like I'm channeling sometimes. Like, the characters take on a life of their own. I'm in their world and I'm just writing it down for them. To the point where someone mentioned a character the other day, and I had no idea what they were talking about, because to me, it's like, oh, I wrote that a year ago.
Yeah.
So I think Kit's story unfurled organically in that sense, and felt right to have that exploration of those issues. Those ones, but
yeah. And how did you go with letting go as you went through your journey?
Still let it go.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I came back in actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was very, like, a very positive and helpful experience to have a taste of handing over power to someone else. And then, like the psycho I am, came back in and got it back.
Love it.
Yeah.
And is the idea of it scarier than the reality?
Well, the people I partnered with were good.
Yeah.
And they didn't interfere. But I have many horror stories where, and you would have seen them publicly, where a brand you love gets taken over by private equity or bought out, and it becomes a brand you don't love.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous line to walk.
Yeah. So many women have fantastic business ideas, and I know a lot of you out there, I can tell, would have a great business idea, but can feel overwhelmed by financial complexities, daunting terminology, and the idea of the disruption to family life if they're in that stage of life. What guidance would you give women who are thinking about taking that leap into business?
it's super circumstantial again. I often get questions from young families who are keen to start a family, and they're like, but how will I do it if I have kids? And my honest answer is, I think it actually helped me because once I had children, my priorities were very clear, and I knew exactly how much time I could spend sitting at my computer. Like, because before I had kids, I could sit at my computer for 8 hours and fuck around and do not much work at all and call it a day's work. But with children, I don't have that luxury, so it actually pulls everything into focus a lot better. And women are phenomenal at getting a lot of shit done. They're so competent, it's breathtaking, and children just become part of that mix. So, and as with a business, if you're in it, so many of the best business ideas in the world are mothers, or young women who have noticed a gap or are frustrated at something in their life that's not working the way that they would. They've jimmied up their own creations because it's better. So I love that women are feeling more and more able to explore that, and you can set it up from your garage with an Australia Post account and a Shopify account.
Totally.
There's room for everyone's ideas. It's wonderful.
That's right. I think the accessibility we have to start a website with a couple of clicks, to grab an Instagram handle. I mean, you really can start a business without a ton of money invested into it from the beginning.
Talking point. So there is that, and so everyone can start a business and should. I think what I wanted to talk to in the book was like there is an entire industry based on startups and become an entrepreneur and how to be a founder and you can buy business course, go to a seminar, go to a conference, all of these things. But what happens if it works? Or it doesn't work? What happens if it does become successful and you have to hire or take an investment because you want to do retail? And I think those are the questions that aren't answered enough. And that's what I wanted to talk to because we all get lessons on how to start and to be brave, but then the hard shit really comes next.
That is a good point. And that makes me think, well, I'm going to give you another unscripted one. That makes me think, what resources did you use? Because you're right, there are so many courses and these online tutorials that you can do and all of these things, but there isn't as much info about when that business has started cooking. And all of a sudden you're feeling lonely.
I still don't know, to the point where I have like corporate lawyers come to me, female corporate lawyers, like, I want to change it from the inside because there is not much support for founders who are desperate to take it to that next level. For me, it was hiring people who can do stuff that I can't. So from very early on, a managing director who was one of the shareholders who would take care of inventory, warehouse logistics, forecasting, customs, shit that I'm not good at and will never be good at. And I think that investment in people that can do the stuff that you can't early on is better, because a lot of people hire junior people to go, oh, you can help with the, like cleaning the warehouse and posting things. But you're left with all of the very complicated stuff. So taking someone, spending that money on a really senior person early on is worth it, because that will be your business humming.
I think that's such a good point too, because I think women especially, but I'm sure everybody feels this, the pressure when you start a business to do everything.
And you do.
Of course. But you forget that you can hire senior people to fill those roles.
We brought in the grown-ups to go to transform the business.
I think I remember too, I was listening to interviews you were doing recently, and I'm sure you said the words founder university. And I was like, I would go there. You need to start that.
It exists.
I don't think it does.
Founder university.
Let's do it. I would enroll. Obviously, the book is called Things Will Calm Down Soon. So calm is something that I'm sure you've been talking about a lot in relation to the book. I would love to know, do you have any apps, hacks, tips, tricks to calm down?
Boy. I was going to say, I usually kind of walk in nature, but I don't know if you find that like the shower or a walk actually gets more ideas coming.
Oh, 100%.
It's like my brain gets a vacuum and just fills it immediately. I take CBD and THC at night to calm my brain down because it's busy. and I don't like it waking me up through the night. So I don't really have any tips. I'm probably not the poster girl for calm. I'm probably the poster girl for chaos. Yeah, so
it seems to be working. I mean, I'm sure it is busy,
you know
but
what I have found, sorry. Yoga Nidra, which is it's like a type of meditation, and if you're a human bot, you'll know about this, but there's a girl on YouTube called Ali Boothroyd, and I put on her Yoga Nidras, like it's 10-minute ones, 20-minute ones, 40-minute ones, and like today, where I don't have time to sleep or regenerate, I'll just do that for 15 minutes, and it's illuminating.
Love it. I hope someone is writing that down. And
I don't think I discovered Yoga Nidra. I think it's pretty popular already, but it's really good.
Love it. I imagine when it comes to writing a novel that you can't just sit down anywhere, anytime and start bashing out the chapters. Do you need a calm writing space? And if so, how do you set it up?
I have a few little tricks to make sure that my brain knows that I am writing a novel, not an email about a marketing campaign. So my children go to school, have very strong coffee, and then I put a candle on, which is a signifier, and then another thing I use is binaural beats, which is this like hum that you can find on Spotify, and like a couple of minutes of that. Apparently it gets your brainwaves cooking. And then I have a playlist that I adore called Music to Work To that I created that is really great if you need to do study or deep work. And I just sit there, even if it's for 90 minutes, because you can get a lot done in 90 minutes. Because if I sit there for 4 hours, I'll still only work for 90 minutes. The rest will be on the iconic, my rash tests for my children, cat scratching holes. So, yeah, that's what I have to do. Because my brain has to understand that this is the ritual and you are going to do the work. Because fiction writing is a very different mindset.
With the book, is that the blocks of time you were writing in, like 90-minute blocks?
9 to 11.
And how long did it take to write the book from woe to go?
Just probably like 18 months or less, and then copy edits and some really amazing copy edits because I overwrote by about 30,000 words. So can you imagine how boring that would have been? I always say it's like who's going to be the smartest one says he's big, epic, and then the brilliant people at my publishing house got it down to a little 90-minute film we can all enjoy. Look, towards the end, I can write for like 10 hours a day. I go to Psycho. In those early days when I'm building.
I love that. I also remember you saying, I hope that you said this, but you know, when I went into my deep Google prior to today.
I'm so sorry, you must be so sick of
I
me.
love it, please, I love it. You said something like luck is a dirty word. We talk a lot as women, founders, businesswomen, oh, we're lucky, I got lucky, I got really lucky. And I think maybe that's an Australian thing too. Is that something that you find, and should we not be saying that?
Oh, you should, there's no should, you can say what you like. I get tortured by this because sometimes I find myself minimizing and saying, oh, it's just luck, and because I honestly believe that sometimes timing and opportunity and market hit at the right time. So for example, with GoTo, I had been online for years with the blog, and then I built a D2C brand, so I already had a built-in digital customer base ready to go. And then, you know, people would start to feel comfortable buying online, and then natural skincare was having a moment. So all of those things had to intersect for that to work. I don't know if that's luck, but something. Something. But yeah, I think we are very good at minimizing and deflecting and self-deprecating. And I think it's armor that we wear because the worst thing you can be in Australia is a wanker and a big head and to talk yourself up. We are so triggered by that for some reason. We're not allowed to be proud of our success. And I'm 100% in that camp. Where does it come from? I don't know. But yeah, so there is an American character in the book for this reason to kind of educate us on how it can be.
Absolutely. Do you catch yourself doing that, and what do you say to yourself internally to kind of pep talk yourself out of that?
Okay, so when someone says, I love your outfit, what do you say?
Oh, it's just from Zara. You can go and get it. It's on sale now.
I did it tonight. Someone said, I love you. I'm like, oh, it's just a cheapie, you know. I don't know what it is. A wonderfully stylish gay man once said to me, just say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop there. Just say thank you. So I'm trying still 20 years later to do that.
I love that advice.
Yeah, but we always want to make it feel like, oh, I do love that about women. Like, we
No,
just
same.
share it. We just want to share
Like a
the
bathroom
vibes.
bestie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? Good on us.
Like Zoe's shoes. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm sorry to the people on the live stream, but can you see them?
There's a little
Yeah.
polish.
I mean, you can bet that I was asking about them.
Which you could make something like this.
Well, don't think I wasn't like, I could just hot glue gun one on.
It's
And
a question, but still.
I also loved something you said, that true friends can celebrate you and be happy for you. We really see this in one of the characters in the book. There's a bestie that is a ride or die, 110% supportive.
Yeah.
Is that the experience you've had in your journey?
Yeah, I've definitely got those people around me now, and I think you sort of weed out over time. I think we all do, the people who can't be happy for you, or can only be happy for you and available when things are shit. And look, it's nice because we have probably an innate nurturing aspect to us, but you're going to be happy for your gals.
That's right.
So various WhatsApps I've got, we just like very loud cheerleaders for each other, like everything that any of us do. And it's real, because we're always in awe of each other. And I think you should be in awe of your friends and always applauding them and supporting them. And as I get older, the female friendships, oh my God, they're golden. Like more than romantic relationships, more than anything, they are just so special. When you're in your 40s, like, wow, my God, I love them.
And there is something about women cheering on women in business, isn't there?
Yeah, and we're very good at it.
Obviously, people get married and have babies, and there's a lot of celebrating around that. But when your besties are excited for you and your business, they really are on your side.
Yeah, and we really need that as women. I think there's enough pie for everybody. Like celebrate everyone, even if your friend is in the exact same industry, which is my case a lot of the time.
Yes.
I love them. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also just love to know the feedback that you've been getting about the book. Has there been any themes or elements of the book that have jumped out the most?
Oh my God, that made me laugh, and I haven't written back to any of them. Such a bitch. But see, all day, I haven't written back. Is that not like just an ongoing thing in your head? Yes, any founder I know is just like, could just be through words, and I hit. Someone else who is very public and successful founder was just like, have you been in my house for the last 6 months? I love that because that's very much who I was writing for, but also people who, and it's at these beautiful events where women say, I just feel seen because my life is so chaotic. I felt like I was the only one who's dealing with so many different things every day. And yeah, and then the young founders are like, thank you, because I was at this crossroads and now I feel like I have some direction. And like you, when you showed me your dog-eared copy, like you were taking notes, I love that. It's very gratifying.
For those who haven't yet read the book, here's my hot tip, and that is read it with a highlighter or some sort of pen, because I didn't. I just dove into it on holidays, and I've actually got my copy here. It'll be hard to see it, but when you dog-ear the corner at the top, it's obviously where you're up to. And I didn't have a highlighter, and I had to dog-ear the bottom of the book for all of the little business advice and all the words I wanted to go back and research. Zoe was saying,
glossary.
Yeah, maybe in the reprint there'll be a glossary. So definitely that is my tip for sure.
I should say also, if you're not in business and you don't give a shit about any of that, it's still a really fun stuff.
Of course.
Don't be confused by what is a business.
I swear you'll still need the highlighter just for the WhatsApp group chats. You will want to be highlighting those to laugh with your friends.
That's the other thing now, friends screenshot their own WhatsApps and send them to me as if I need more, but they are fun. I think yours is bad. What should you shit?
I bet there is some gold, and now I'm very tempted to also screenshot mine.
I should put them all on Instagram with names, full names and schools.
The schools, that would go down well. In readiness for tonight, I did ask some of my friends who are here tonight what they wanted to know. And one of them had heard you say you can feel like an insider and an outsider at the same time in business. What does that mean?
It just feels so true to me. And I wonder if I feel like that in writing. I don't, because writing feels very inherent to me and something I feel confident that I'm good at. But business is like this nebulous, ever-changing, completely foreign language. I didn't go to business school, I don't have an MBA, I don't know any of that. But I did have very, very amazing people around me, and they were unicorns. I honestly, from the stories I've heard, my advisor, my lawyer, and my chairperson were very special. And that's part of the reason I wrote this, because I wanted to take what I had paid lots of money for and put it in the book to help everyone else, because their advice was so sound and so real and so helpful. So yeah, I still feel like an insider in business and proving, like, I don't think imposter syndrome is the right term, because I do feel like I deserve to be at the table, but I feel like I always have more to learn. And that's good.
I love that. We were talking just before about the secondary characters in the book, of which you'll discover soon if you have not already, and they are absolute gems. And when books are good, the secondary characters are so good and so juicy. I know you did write it a while ago, but do you have a favourite secondary character in the book?
I was saying the other night, it's so interesting to me that I would say, oh, you know, Rat gets these hilarious lines, she's so funny. I wrote Rat. So I'm basically saying I'm so hilarious. But again, they take on their own personality in life. I think the sister Rat is one to watch. But yeah, I just think they're great. I mean, they exist to support our protagonist in her journey, just like in our real lives, we support. But yeah, I think that I love them.
I love that.
Even Ari, you know, he's great. Gretel, the daughter.
But Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie.
Love that. Okay.
All my friends think they're Maggie.
Do they?
But hey, thanks. Like, you get it.
Do you just say yes, you are? It was you.
Just say it.
Because it's so flattering. I would love to do some rapid fire questions.
Yes, let's do it.
If you are ready.
I'm so bad at these. Let's go.
Okay. So the first one is quite appropriate now. Who would you cast as Kit the character in a movie, but let's say in a TV show? No pressure. We could say in a movie.
Yeah, I love Rose Byrne because she's so funny and lovely, but I just feel like she would do a superb job. So I'm shooting for the stars. I have no say in who's going to get that role, of course.
And I wrote that question obviously prior to today's news.
Yeah.
So no pressure.
It's a legit question now. No.
You have a genius for naming products. What is the weirdest or most fun name for a product that didn't make the cut, and why?
I can't say that because it always might come back. But I did really want to make a tongue scraper.
Oh.
For go-to.
Okay.
And no one will let me.
What would you call it?
It's gross. Tongue scraper's gross. And I'm like, you know what's gross? Not.
Bad breath.
I mean, you do it. You sit by yourself and stand still, tongue scraper, scrape in the morning, and then you tell me who's gross.
If anyone can make a tongue scraper, it's
I'll try. No, I won't do it, but yeah. Not all I do.
But what would you call it? Not to put you on the spot. Did you think of a name for it?
No, I don't think we got
You didn't get that far?
Pun, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I love a pun.
I can't think of it on the spot.
No pressure. I mean,
Some pressure. I don't know.
No. What was the last book that you read that really impacted your life?
Oh man, All Fours by Miranda July was a cracker. If anyone's read that, it's absolutely bonkers. I loved The Big Sting, and it's the only book I've ever gone online afterwards to deep dive on Reddit. The ending.
Oh.
I got nothing for you, no one knew. And Demon Copperhead is still in my heart. That was amazing.
Love it.
Yeah.
If your life as a writer, founder, businesswoman, mum could be distilled into a cocktail, what would be the key ingredients?
Oh. Moisturizer. Face hero. I don't know. I don't know.
Would you be fizzy? Would you
No,
be...
I'm tired. My favourite drink is an Americano. If you've never had one, give it a shot.
Ooh.
It's like sits between a Campari and soda and a Negroni. It's not as strong as a Negroni, so you don't get a hangover. It's got a little bit more kick than a Campari soda, which is really good. Safe.
Delicious.
I get hangovers like that, so I'm going to be careful.
Okay. What 3 completely impractical items would be in your entrepreneurial survival kit?
Ooh.
Shoes with nail polish heels.
Obviously.
You had a talking point. It would be boring. Like, are you talking metaphorically or?
Well, like, I don't know what I was talking about, to be honest. I mean, maybe it's
It's just coffee.
a boombox.
Yeah, just coffee and one of my playlists and some peace and quiet.
Before I go to the next question, that just quickly reminds me, you have all your playlists in Spotify, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I follow you, yes. If you don't, you must find Zoe's playlist. There is a walking playlist that is
Hot girl walk, yeah.
Hot Girl Walk, 11 out of 10, so just FYI.
You need to walk and feel good at this. Listen to that.
Yes.
And you feel great.
Love it. Okay.
Put it on, guys. Put it on now.
Background music. Whose makeup bag would you most like to raid? Cleopatra's, Sabrina Carpenter's, or RuPaul's?
Oh, I think Sabrina Carpenter's right now.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah, she does look good.
Your mate, Sabrina.
When she had my mate, when she had like a darker blonde and she was doing brown eyeshadows compared to what she's doing now.
Yes.
Big change. A bit of surgery too.
Love it. Love it. You're making a time capsule of 2024's beauty trends. What 3 products or trends would you include for future generations to discover?
Oh my God.
Blush, because we've all got blush liners. Aggressive blush. Probably a brown lip liner.
Oh, yes.
Like
overlining? Like overlining, is this what we mean? Beauty.
Oh, beauty. Second
Oh, please create it.
Yes. The closest thing to it, by the way, would be Olaplex number 6.
Oh, okay.
And
Even though
right
nothing-
now, which has made my face glow, even though I'm not getting any sleep and I'm flying a lot.
Yes.
So good.
And heading into summer, obviously nifty-50, but
Nifty-50.
we hadn't planned these product
Yes.
mentions.
Try the fluid if you don't know what it's the one.
That is the end of my rapid fire questions. I did just want to finish up by reading you another little bit that was in this pre-ramble in my copy.
Pre-ramble.
Pre-ramble.
Instead of pre-ramble.
Because I just really loved it, and I went back with my highlighter and actually post-highlighted this after the book because I loved it so much. You don't mind me reading it? Is it creepy? I'm reading it in your words.
Make it deep and very powerful.
I'm going to put my deep voice on. If I was forced to break it down, I am. This is a story about building something, many things. A brand, a business, yes, but also a family, a home, and above all, the kind of self-possession that must be earned, that is wrestled from the clutches of doubt and insecurity, and while worn tentatively at first, eventually becomes a source of quiet and peace and pride. And I have goosebumps just reading that. I just think that is the perfect way to end this beautiful chat. We cannot thank you enough for being here and sharing this book with us.
My pleasure.
Your favourites, Adelaide.
Yes, my favourites, Adelaide. Do that thing which I never done before, but I put my phone on and we turn this is going on the house on I just want to photo of you all. This is a big moment and you guys and let's do it. I don't know if I'm asking about
Whoever that person is. It's happening.
All right, sit tight, guys. Is there any housekeeping? Like, there'll be a... Yeah, come on up.
Tell us things. There's so many of you, there has to be some sort of system.
Oh, do you want this one?
Have ours.
I just, whilst we're getting another house sponsor, I just wanted to say thank you both so much. Thank you to the gorgeous Alexis Tuesday.
Pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
And we're all women cheerleaders for you both here tonight. So you're in a room full of cheerleaders, cheering you on and loving you both. So thank you so much. And now, once the house lights are up and we do the fabulous photo, don't forget, if you haven't already bought a copy, and get a copy of the book from the lovely ladies over at the Tilda Bookshop over there. And then Zoe has kindly agreed to, we've got a nice little setup there, getting your photo with Zoe if you wish. So what we'll do, just to keep everyone safe, is we'll have, if you can queue up along that line and then come across the front, just to keep everyone organised and fair. And without any more from me, thank you so much for all coming, and thank you to you both.
Yes. Oh my God, the pressure. The pressure. Okay. Oh, guys, this is so cute. This is so cute. OMG. Okay, so now let's do something like hands in the air. Wait, you gotta get back. Get back in. Get back in. You're in this. You're in this. Get your book. Don't fall off the edge. Good Lord. Okay, give it to me. Woo! Oh my gosh, guys, the Regal. This looks amazing. Beautiful.
They don't forget the authors out there in the sticks usually.